Hello and welcome to Paving the Way Roundtable presented by PECO. I'm Krystle Rich, and today we're exploring the intersection of art, hoops, and Black culture. I'm joined by three panelists who are all very well known here in Philadelphia. We're going to start with King Saladeen, who is a self-taught artist, Philly native. He has exhibited all over the country, all over the world, from China to Brazil. He has had collaborations with some top brands and just dropped an NFT collection. We're going to move over to really a Philly staple. He's a hip hop artist, Chill Moody, who is dropping music every single Monday. I think he's literally in the studio now, making a little bit of time for us. That's always cool. But he's not just a hip hop artist. He's also an entrepreneur. He does things from clothing lines to beer, wine, even kombucha. We're going to learn a little bit more about that. And if you are a Sixers fan, you know Isaiah Joe, Sixers guard. He does most of his work from downtown at a little place we like to call Beyond the Arc. Welcome in to Paving the Roundtable, guys. How you guys doing?
I'm great. We're great.
Doing good. Really good.
All right, so this is an interesting conversation that we have. Basketball, Isaiah Joe, as you know very well, is a place where Black culture can really thrive. It is embraced from the music to the fashion to the arts to every single aspect in here. All three of you gentlemen have passion careers. So I gave you a little bit of a brief intro, but I would love to hear your thoughts on your connections to basketball and Black culture. Chill, we'll start with you.
Well, as you said, I'm Chill Moody from West Philly. I think the connection between basketball, music, art, and Black culture is just all encompassing. Comes from, searching for purpose, searching for prosperity. Where we come from, a lot of our stories are similar. And you have those guys that you look at, those guys and girls that you look at that kind of, quote unquote, made it out. And a lot of them made it out one or, a couple ways, playing ball, you rap or go to the league is what 2 Chainz would say. Art finds itself in there because art is just encompassing across all platforms. So like I said, it's just a sign of prosperity, looking at something as, this is my way out. This could possibly be my way out.
And Isaiah Joe, would love to hear your thoughts on this as you are the only pro basketball player here. To you, what's the connection between your passion career and Black culture?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just think it starts at a very young age, whether that's basketball, music. I mean, I feel like it's all a way to bring a community together. And, you see it, the more you go down the line. So I'm in the NBA now, and I feel like I'm seeing it even more. You got players on our team like Tobias Harris. We recently just had Andre Drummond, guys that really speak out, and they're really, they're deep in the community, they're deep in culture, and you can see it each and every day. And it's just something that's going to continue to grow. Black culture is very important, and, we're just going to continue to thrive off of it.
And King Saladeen, I'll throw it to you.
Well, I mean, they hit the nail right there. Basically, it's like, you grow up trying to figure out a way out. And those are the biggest things that you see coming from our culture. So I thought I played basketball growing up, maybe thought I could rap some years in there, but that just came from it being like shoved down our throats almost too, you know what I'm saying, being a part of the culture. So I thought that I was going to make it to the NBA or be a rapper before I even thought about me being an artist. So that was it's just really about your environment and like what you're able to see, like literally.
When you said that you thought about becoming a rapper, no one smiled more than Chill Moody over there.
I mean, because
that's a Philly thing. Like everybody got some bars. You'll find somebody with a 16 wherever you go.
I kind of want to talk about the journey and the inspiration for all three of you, because you look at guys like yourself and people who are younger or maybe not as successful as you will look at you and say, you've made it. You talked about that, Chill Moody, saying that in the culture, you're especially in Black culture, you're really trying to come up, whether it's through basketball, whether it's through art, whether it's through music, but not everyone sees the journey. And the journey a lot of times can be the hardest part. But when we're transparent about the journey and what it took to get to where you are. That's how we can pull more people up to make it to our level and beyond our level. So Isaiah, Joe, I'll start with you. What has been some of the hardest challenges that you have faced in your career path?
Yeah, like for me, so I'm not gonna sit here and say that, I had rough conditions growing up. I had a pretty wealthy family, but basketball wise, I was never, the talk of the conversation. I was always the underdog, and I always had to, get it the hard way, because nobody really looked at me going into high school from college. And shoot, when I got on college campus, I was 155 pounds. Nobody was looking at me at that point, to go to the league, development, he's too little, things like that. So just using all of that motive and drive, to push me through, it definitely, made me the person that I am today. Starting with, from my dad, pushing me, all the coaches and mentors that I've had growing up. And even when I got to college, the staff, still my dad being in my corner, got my trainer that lives with me right now. He's been a really big impact in my life. And so, just continue to prove people wrong and to open up eyes. And I feel like in my eyes, I haven't made it just yet. I'm still pushing for a bigger goal.
And making it in the NBA is one of the hardest things that you can do. I mean, there's only 400 NBA players in the world.
Yeah,
it's very hard. Everyone, especially in Black culture, we grow up hooping, but the percentage of people who actually make it to where you are. So it says a lot about what you've been through. King Saladeen, I want to throw it to you next, because I know that you have a very interesting story. What have been some of the hardest obstacles that you have faced on your journey in art?
Oh man, the hardest obstacles is actually just being seen and recognized, really, because I'm self-taught. I'm not a traditional artist. I didn't go to art school. Nobody, passed me on as a cosign, if you would say so. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing was just being really taken serious out of Philadelphia. I had to kind of I don't want to say this, but I had to kind of get out of Philly to get taken serious and meet the right people, and just my direction had to be a little bit different, because it's only but so far that you're gonna go just staying home. You know what I'm saying? And it's it's just really just about being known, getting known, and taking serious and really putting on your own shows, because it's a lot of business behind art, because it's art is one of the craziest businesses ever, especially when you don't get taught any of this stuff. It's no book for this type stuff. You know what I mean? So you got to really just have great relationships and just be a sponge.
And that brings me to almost two follow-up questions. It seems like there's probably obstacles that you faced leaving Philadelphia to try to get that recognition, and then returning to Philadelphia and saying, this is who I am now.
Well, the biggest thing is money. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to navigate in Miami, LA, New York, where all these big things are going on, you got to have something to do. You got to have relationships, and you got to have some money too. So I think the biggest thing for me was just having relationships with great people that see my talent. You know what I mean? It was like that in Philly also, but it was just it was a ceiling. You know what I mean? So in Philly, it wasn't a whole lot of art galleries around and things like that either, where I could learn from these people who own these businesses. So I had to move on and go find other places where it was really, really going crazy at. So that was really, really my thing.
And Chill Moody, being an artist is not easy. Being a hip hop artist today, we get spoiled with your music every single Monday, but that's a hustle in itself. What have been some of your hardest challenges in this business?
It's honestly similar to what Saladeen is talking about. Just being from Philly specifically, I always say Philly has A-level talent and D-level industry. We got cream of the crop in talent, but who knows other than the people that are here? Everybody comes to Philly for just thinking musicians, everybody comes here for their tour, but everybody doesn't come here for their press run. This isn't a platform that we could shout from to hit, to gain national attention. But my Philly roots, my Philly pride is kind of above, where it should be, to where it's I'm stuck here. I got to be here 10 toes down. I want to make it from here. So, 10 years down the road, the next Chill Moody doesn't have to, leave here to make it in the industry. And I mean, if he decides to leave, if somebody decides to leave, it's a choice, not an inevitability, if we create the proper infrastructure here. So that's really been the toughest journey, is trying to make, I used to say that had this thing called the 80-point theory, where it was like somebody drops 80 points at the Wells Fargo Center. That's live, but they drop 80 points at the Garden the next night. For some reason, that 80 point means more. And it's like, how do I make this 80 mean more? You know what I mean? I'm selling out venues in Philly. Somebody might be selling out maybe a smaller venue in New York, but for some reason that matters more. And it's like something's not right there if we're parallel, you know, as far as talent. So just trying to make that understandable, you know what I mean, throughout the industry and do it from here. It's kind of been one of the toughest journeys, but it's one I'm happy to fight for the city.
And that's something that's very interesting that you said, if someone does it at the center versus Madison Square Garden, it might mean something a little bit more. How are you able to, if you can get specific with us, how do you navigate that? You want to be known as making it from Philly. You said it's not the number one place that people go. It's not LA, it's not Atlanta. How specifically do you navigate that?
Through community, you know, you gather, you put your best foot forward with the community. You find the people in different sectors, whether it be, you know, music, art, sports, whatever. You find the people who are in your city that are doing it and package it right. So when it hits that national market, people are looking back to Philly. Okay, Tierra Wax doing this in Philly. What else do they got over in Philly right now? Quinta Brunson is killing it with this Abbott Elementary show, and it's all about Philly. What else is there in Philly? You build that community, and then you move out together. I think is probably the best way to do it. But the talent, like I said, the talent is here.
If I asked all three of you, who is your inspiration in your field? Who is the first name to come to mind? Isaiah Joe?
I was a huge Kobe fan. Growing up. I think it started with my dad. He was the biggest of Kobe fans too. And it started at a young age with me just growing up watching him. When he was 8 and 24, even though I was young, it was still amazing to watch. And then other than him, I mean, I would say my parents. They, you know, live and breathe basketball. And my dad didn't play much, but they live and breathe it now. And so they're the one that kept me on this road. You know, he's trained me to be the player that I am today. And all thanks to them, God, and Kobe Bean.
Mamba mentality. I think that's what it's all about across art, music, basketball, having that determination to wake up early, put your best foot forward every single day and leave it all on the court, if you will, whatever your court is. As we move over a little bit for the conversation to self-expression and art, King Saladeen, I mentioned some of your credentials you've exhibited all over the country, which is very, very hard for artists to do. But you have not only done that, you exhibited internationally from Brazil to China. You just dropped a toy line. You can tell us a little bit more about that, an NFT line. But what I want to know for you is, what are you trying to express through your art?
What I'm trying to express through my art is just pretty much like my story, literally coming from Philly, like without any type of blueprint. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm really trying to express. Like what Chill was saying was pretty much like you know, the community. So me leaving Philly and then coming back to like work with different artists and all kinds of stuff, and my foundation, Create, Motivate, Inspire. That's just like all a big part of the whole like pot of gumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at like what I'm doing as I never really looked at or seen an artist going the direction that I'm kind of going, because I'm going so non-traditional to the point where I'm like controlling everything that I do. And it's not like based under like I'm signed to somebody or signed to a gallery and I can't do cool things if it doesn't align with them. So it's just like, I'm just really just trying to like create this narrative that you can really do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like long as you had the right team. And the big thing that I got from basketball was all teamwork. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody play a position. And a lot of people don't know that, especially artists. Artists want to be like soloed out. Like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm a dude. You know what I'm saying? Well, me, I came in thinking this as business, more as a gift, but I know a lot about business. So it was just trying to just mix it all up.
And you mentioned that you're getting into the business aspect. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're very well known for, the Money Bear, your new toy line, and there's another thing, the NFT collection you just dropped?
Okay, well, pretty much I'm most known for, I do all kinds of art and I do all types of different designs, but I'm known for JP the Money Bear, which is in the memory of my best friend that passed away from brain cancer in 2013. So that one is like a different type of feeling. I don't know, like a lot of people just like really related to that situation, you know what I mean? And the Money Bear just being like something that's like kid friendly. It's like you can't even tell who I am with that artwork. And I think a lot of artists, they usually do things that somebody tells them to do or somebody directs them. And I kind of like in that moment, I just did something that really represented my best friend and all the things that we talked about, everything that we did. He's the one that really pushed me to do art. Like I'm like Philly boy. I was at that time, I'm like regular, like I'm cool. Just give me a couple dollars and I can run around, get some girls. I was all right, but he seen something in me like, hey, you different. You know what I mean? Like that stuff that I'll be seeing in your house, that the world need to see that. So that was the energy that I put into that artwork. You know what I mean? Because when he passed away, I would have never thought that he'd have passed away from cancer. Like I'm used to people dying in other ways. You know what I'm saying? So that one hit me totally different. So that's the inspiration behind JP the Money Bear, which most people know me for. And I've done that all around the world. And we created toys, and I just did an NFT drop on OpenSea. So it's a lot of different umbrellas under just that one JP. We did baseball cards all year with tops. It was just a lot of different things that fit under that umbrella that I'm glad that I was able to do.
And when I ask you, who is your inspiration? Who's the first person who pops into your mind?
It's gonna be hard because it's a lot of people. Because I'm an athlete first, so it's definitely gonna be like a Kobe or an AI. You know what I'm saying? And business, I can go forever about like who I look up to in business. And art is all kinds of artists, but I'm gonna say somebody like it's so many, man. It's a whole bunch of people put in one because I didn't grow up just thinking I was gonna be an artist. So I had this guy that I was like, damn, he the man in this, or he. So it's a hard one for me to answer that. Honestly, it's a hard one.
What I love that you said is that you grew up a hooper. You grew up playing basketball, and a lot of your idols or someone who may inspire you may be guys who played in the league. And just like Isaiah Joe said, his inspiration has been Kobe Bryant, as a lot of people, but you don't have to be a basketball player for Kobe or an AI to be your inspiration, because you kind of take on their mentalities. And that all the greatness that they poured into their game, you take that, like we say, Mamba mentality, and put that Chill Moody towards your music. Who has been, Chill Moody, your inspiration?
It's across a lot of different fields, similar to how Saladeen is talking. I didn't grow up wanting to necessarily be a rapper. I always wrote. So yeah, I wrote poetry and things like that. So coming up, I listened to a lot of like Black Soul, a lot of Nas, guys that had stylistically, it was the content was there, but also like, you know, their lyrical prowess was what it should be. But as far as like understanding that it was more than just the music, there was a business behind it. I always admire what guys like Ice Cube and Master P and 50 Cent, T.I. It's a lot of guys who found a way to make it more than just the music, but still, I mean, keep what it was about them. I think Snoop Dogg is probably at the top of that list of guys who it may be seen from the outside looking in as they're stretching themselves a little thin, but it's like, nah, I'm spreading this brand out, you know what I mean, across all different sectors. And I kind of, you know, honed in on it.
And I love that that's your answer, because that's exactly what you do. You're not just a hip hop artist, but you ventured out into entrepreneurship. You deal with beer, wine, kombucha, clothing line. Tell me a little bit about not how you got into that, because you just told me the importance and your idols and seeing them do that, but the importance of venturing out and doing other things.
It's a lot of money out there, so you got to make a lot of moves, a lot of different moves. No, honestly, the nature of the beast in the music industry, with streaming now as opposed to CDs. When I first started making music, you know, we selling mixtapes and you make a couple dollars off of that. But with streaming paying what it does, I can't even really call it paying what they're really doing with this music. You got to find, you know, ways to diversify what's going on. And then on top of that, even when, you know, we were still selling CDs at shows, you come to a show, you buy a CD, you enjoy it, you come to the next show, you're not buying that CD the second time. So I need to have more entry points to tap your pockets. So, you know, we developed Nice Things as the brand. It's a lifestyle brand. And under that brand, we have a clothing line, Nice Things beverage, a beverage line that you mentioned with a wine, a kombucha, a suite of wines, kombucha, and craft beer, consulting, just a bunch of other things. But really, it's just me living my life the way I plan to live it. You know, I never seen myself with a boss. I always wanted to be one. Like I say it in songs often. Like, never really wanted to work for anybody. It's just like I just wanted to live, and you know, Nice Things has enabled me to do nice things.
I love that. Now, Chill Moody, let's actually get to the music, because you're dropping new music every single Monday. I don't think people realize the craftsmanship that goes into a single bar, and let alone drop as many songs as you do. Can you tell us what kind of emotion and self-expression that you use through your music?
I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's a way for me to emote, a way for me to express myself. I'm a Pisces and very emotional. And I don't shy away from it. So I like to put all of that into the music. So the frequency in which I'm dropping enables people to get understand all of me. Instead of, you know, one dropping every once in a while, you might call him that rapper. I might be the backpack rapper, or the, you know, social justice rapper, or the love rapper, depending on which day I'm dropping. But if I'm dropping that frequently, it's like, oh, this guy's about a lot of different things, and you start to learn, you know what I mean, more and more about me. And just always being visible, keeping that visibility up there. But I really enjoy just sharing this music and getting these thoughts out. It's that therapy, you know what I mean? And with the pandemic, not being able to get on stage, and, you know, coming into the pandemic, I was coming off like a 80 city tour, and was planning on hopefully doubling that the next year. And not being able to express myself on the stage, it was like, I got to do something. So I just bunkered down and just start creating song after song after song. And I was like, all right, we're going to bring this Moody Monday situation back, and just been dropping every Monday. I don't even know when we're going to stop yet. I'm good up until like May right now. So
That's a long way out. Well, listen, we love listening to it. So as long as you want to drop it, you will have ears that will be listening. Isaiah Joe, let's switch over to you. Sixers fans, they love to see you shoot from beyond the arc, but we want to know a little bit more about you. But know that you born and raised in Arkansas, you went to high school and college out there. How has the cultural difference been like here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, like you said, I was born and raised in Arkansas. For many that don't know, being here in Philly is my first time having a permanent address outside of Arkansas. So it's definitely a huge culture change. But I actually, y'all might hate me for this, I stay across the bridge in New Jersey and Cherry Hill. It's more that's more my speed. Yeah, it's more my speed. But, you know, being in the city, it's a big culture change. The things that you see over there, I would never see back home. Like people like Chill Moody and, you know, King Saladeen. You'll never meet people like them back where I'm from. And where I'm from, they talk about how like the market here may be a little bit smaller, you know, compared to like a New York. But like from Arkansas, this is like the biggest jump in like market and publicity and like the people you meet, and, you know, just, you know, building your personal brand. For me, it's a lot bigger here than it ever would have been in Arkansas. So the culture change is huge, and I'm learning each and every day, meeting new people, having a great time, and playing the game that I love best. So, hey, I'm here for it.
Basketball is your art form, but what I learned recently is that you're into a different type of art, if you will. You played the drums growing up.
Yeah. I had my little dip and dabble with the drums growing up. Played, you know, in the marching band. I was on the snare drum. I like to think I still got a few skills left in me. Yeah, so
okay.
Maybe one day y'all might get a little taste, but
jump on with the Sixers.
Yeah, I thought, dude, they're trying to get me on the drums right now.
I think there's a lot of opportunities for you to kind of show off your skills. You play for the Sixers. There's always a big platform there. Would you ever be open to it?
I might be down. That'd be a pretty fun collab.
Did you grow up beating on your desk? Because I know that was really big when I was in high school. Everyone had a beat in their head, and whether it's clips or whatever it may be. Were you one of those?
I think almost everybody grew up beating on the desk. You should drive teachers crazy. I mean, you know, they came to a point in my school that like, if we hear a beat on the desk, you're out of class, you may be done with school for the rest of the day. You know.
Meanwhile, in Philly, the teachers might start, okay, hot beat. Okay.
The teachers got bars.
That's the type of culture we needed in Arkansas.
Well, I'm glad that you're here in Philadelphia. Isaiah Joe, when we talk about self-expression in your art form of basketball, how do you express yourself out there?
Yeah, I mean, just like, you know, Saladeen and Moody said, it's a lot of emotion, you know, in one person's body, and you have to have a way to express it. Being out there on the court is the way that I express. That's the way I relieve pressure. That's the way I clear my mind, because I've been playing basketball since before I can even remember. That's been my meditation since, you know, I've been real little. So just going out there, having fun with the guys. It's a team sport. You meet great people, just and doing what you love. Of course, if I didn't love to do this, I wouldn't be here. If, you know, Saladeen didn't love his art, he wouldn't be there. If Moody didn't love his music, he wouldn't be pursuing music. So it's definitely a way just to clear your mind, meditate, express your emotions, and just go out there and, you know, play hard.
I love it. We're going to shift the conversation a little bit over to community building, because Chill Moody, you mentioned that you started here, you want to grow here, you want to make it here in Philadelphia, and that you really want to be involved in your community. What are some of those community endeavors that are important to you?
Well, most prominent right now, I'm a part of an initiative called the Big Cleanup Philly. It's a lot of things, but the Big Cleanup started from we had a meeting after some of the uprisings and the riots and some of the looting that was going on in the city, a meeting amongst a bunch of creatives. And we're just like, you know, city needs something. We need, you know, we might can't answer all of this right away, but, you know, somebody needs to step up, say something, do something. Let's push something forward. Let's do something. And we thought about, you know, the big cleanup as a metaphor for like, let's clean up the city, but also let's go grab a broom and, I mean, get it in. Because at that time, I remember when we first did the first big cleanup, the National Guard was on blocks in the hood, and these are blocks that I grew up on. And it's like, you know, you can't go to the corner store, there's a National Guard truck right there, and I'm like, this is shocking to, you know, people growing up and the people that are there right now. So I'm like, let's give them something a little bit more promise, you know, some more normalcy, if you will. And, you know, we just remember growing up every Saturday, you know, block cleanings and things like that. You start there and then you build community from there. So that was like a starting point for what we're doing. And we're in moving into, I think, our third year at this point. So the Big Cleanup Philly is like one of the top, I guess, community activations that I'm a part of currently. How
commendable that is. You are an artist, you're a businessman, but you still find ways to give back to your community. King Saladeen, when I think about art, there's so much expression that goes into art. And I'm just curious to know, has the fight for social justice impacted your art in any way?
Well, I mean, it always has. JP the Money Bear is more of a iconic figure, almost like a Mickey Mouse for everybody that doesn't really touch on a whole lot of that type of stuff other than like cancer and things like that. But I've been creating different things that I've grown up through, if it was either it's with social justice or just like, you know, how young blacks are killing each other in the hood every day. It's like I lived through all that type of stuff and still living through it. So all of that definitely has to go through my work. You know what I mean? I kind of release it when I write different things, but it got to be organic. I got to really be feeling that mood. Sometimes I'm feeling great and I forget about how crazy things are back in my old neighborhood until I go, or till I have to go, you know, see one of my family members or something. So it's kind of like, it's always something that's going to live in my art. It's just like different types of art that I put out that's going to be more directed toward that. Like last year, I just released my first print edition of 100 that's called Fight for Equality. I'm sorry about that. It's called Fight for Equality. So that piece is totally off the trajectory of everything that people have been seeing me do. But I felt as though like now I'm at this certain level and I have a lot of ears and I have a lot of eyes. I have to put something out there that's like really speaking to like where I come from. Like, because if you don't know me, you might think like, who knows, you know what I mean? Because it's art, and art's not something that's like really common to us like that. So it's like, you might think that I've been doing this my whole life and I don't have no regular connection to, you know what I'm saying, somebody that play basketball or somebody that raps other than me being young and black. You feel what I'm saying? But it's totally like, it's crazy. It's a lot. But that's the way it really just touches my art, is I just have to release it, and everything that I hear, everything I go through, everything that I've known people that go through. I try to touch on a lot of that in my art. It just depends what the setting is and what the direction is.
And King Saladeen, what I love about art is you have the freedom to be unapologetic about whatever you throw out there. And
Yeah,
I think that part is really big.
Definitely.
All right, so Isaiah Joe, we mentioned at the very top that basketball feels like it just ties so much of Black culture all together, from the music to the warm-ups to the fashion. We see you walking in before every game, laced out to the kicks, to art. There's so many facets of Black culture outside of being a basketball player, but also including that. What do you love about our culture?
I just think our culture is always, the trending culture. I feel like a lot of people use Black history in their everyday life and don't even realize it, use Black culture in their everyday life and don't even know that they do. And so I really feel like we're the cool kids at times. So yeah, so when it comes to music, when it comes to sports, and a lot of little hobbies and things people love, I feel like Black culture is always intertwined in some way. Not always saying we're on top or anything, but just saying we're in the conversation most of 9 times out of 10.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, the leaders of the culture. I hear that. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask one final question, and it's going to be the same for all three of you. If you could give your younger self some advice, I want to know what that would be, because there are younger children out there who maybe look up to all three of you, but sometimes at that age, and depending on your situation, what you guys are doing seems unobtainable. So if you could look back, we'll start with you, Chill Moody. What would you tell your younger self?
If I could, I'm gonna tell you, if I could look back to my younger self and tell, I don't think I would tell myself anything, because honestly, I learned everything from the bumps that I took along the way. They made me stronger. They gave me a better understanding of how to navigate things. But had I not gone through them, I wouldn't be able to, mentor the youth that I'm with now. So when I definitely mentor, the youth that youth that are coming up now, and tell them about my ills coming up and how they could possibly avoid them. But I don't think if I would tell myself how to avoid those things. It's just like the reason I am where I am and I'm going to go where I'm going is because I'm not going to stop. So that's if I would tell myself anything, is don't stop. You know what I mean? You're going to doubt yourself. You're always going to have those moments, but just don't stop.
I like that. The roadblocks will always be there, but you have to keep moving.
Yeah, for sure.
Isaiah Joe, what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, I mean, I like the route that, Chill Moody went, not telling yourself anything, because there's a reason why we made it to what we're doing today. But if I could tell myself anything, it'd probably just be, be yourself, man. Continue to do what you do because you're doing it right. You're gonna have obstacles down the road. You just gotta, be able to push through those and never give up. And don't be afraid to step out of the box and express yourself. I was always kind of like a shyer kid growing up, not necessarily in a bad way, but don't be afraid to step out the box. Express yourself, and everything is gonna be all good.
Self-expression. King Saladeen, you're up.
I would say the same thing. I was like, damn, they said exactly what I would pretty much say, because like everything I went through was like I kind of had to, down to like dealing with girls. You feel what I'm saying? Like you got to go through that stuff, because I didn't grow up with, my father or a big brother really around. So I had a great stepfather, yes, but it's some disconnects on certain things, you know what I mean? But what I would tell somebody else is don't put yourself in a box. Definitely always try to be around people that are have similar likes, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody that was around totally didn't like nothing I liked, but we were all friends because we was like stuck in the same environment, you know what I mean? So I would say try to reach out and get with, if you're in the art, you got to try to be around people who are in the art, or you kind of going to get deterred from it. Just like with basketball, if you got a bunch of homies that's getting money, you kind of like, I'll play later. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like it messes up your whole frequency. So I would say, like, I would just try to be around more people that could teach me things that I was trying to get to. You know what I mean? Other than just like, hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna chill on the block today. You know what I mean? Like, if I'd have went downtown and maybe just, who knows? You know what I mean? But I stayed in my environment. So I say just reach out and just try to get out, and whatever you do, try to learn what you're gonna do too, because the talent always gonna be there. The business is what we get washed up in. So it's kind of like that's where I think that I would try to school young kids on, like, learn the business before the talent, because I thought I was going to NBA before I started playing AAU basketball, and it's like 7 foot 10th graders, and I'm like, okay, this kind of crazy. Like, this different. This ain't down at the park. You know what I mean? So it was really like me getting out more that just showed me, okay, what position should I play? What to gravitate to and stuff like that. So I think it's really just getting outside of your element and being around people that's like you, like likewise.
I think there's so many great common themes here, from knowing that there will be obstacles for the next generation to face. Know that they're coming, but keep on going. To surround yourself with people who have like interests as you do. Get out and explore and see that the world is so much bigger than what is outside your window. Chill Moody, Isaiah Joe, King Saladeen, thank you so much for joining Paving the Way Roundtable presented by PECO. I'm Krystle Rich. Enjoy your evening.